we do have that new device. Just so everybody and our speakers are aware, if you go over time, this is what you will hear. Just to be clear.
About as un-American as I can imagine.
Okay. We're all just going to build that into your wake-up call tomorrow morning. If you want it on your cell phones as a ringtone, we can do that too, I'm sure. So one of the key capabilities, as I've noted, that you all help build is a group called Concerned Veterans for America. And obviously there are a lot of folks who have had military service that quite obviously are very patriotic, love their country, but are not often actively engaged as they may be into this process. And this has been a really helpful effort, but not surprisingly too, in this whole crazy debacle of the Veterans Administration, Concerned Veterans for America has really risen to the forefront. And in fact, you all may recall even bringing this issue up last fall, really driving hard on it and continuing to drive as well. I'm going to have Pete Hegseth come up in just a minute. Pete is when he was at Princeton, was editor of the conservative newspaper there, the Princeton Tory. He went on to the Army, served 3 tours of duty as an infantry officer in Iraq, Afghanistan, and also at Guantanamo Bay. So I'm going to have Pete come up after we watch this little video to show a little bit about what they're doing, and then you'll hear from Pete Hegseth.
Many of our nation's veterans are struggling with a battle here at home. It's a major backlog in the Department of Veterans Affairs.
More than 736,000 of our nation's heroes are still waiting for their veterans benefits.
It's just dysfunctional bureaucracy stuck in the 20th century, pencil and paper bureaucracy.
There were legitimate appointments with the veterans still waiting who were canceled to make performance metrics look better.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is a preview of single-payer, government-run, top-down health care. Now, I know Obamacare isn't single-payer, but that's where it could lead and where a lot want it to go. And that's what the VA is.
See, I'm here for every veteran who died because they haven't received the care they needed when they needed it.
Any commander who's been at the helm for 5 years and has failed in the battlefield is going to get fired.
This organization called for VA Secretary Eric Shinseki to resign a year ago.
A few minutes ago, Secretary Shinseki offered me his own resignation. With considerable regret, I accept it.
I don't think he wanted to accept. I want to thank you, Kevin, for that introduction and for this opportunity. My name is Pete Hegseth. I'm the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America. It's an absolute honor to be here. And I'm excited to share some of the things Concerned Veterans for America has accomplished over the last year with the help of this network and how we're building for the future. Concerned Veterans for America is an organization this network literally created to empower veterans and military families to fight for the freedom and prosperity here at home that we fought for while in uniform or on the battlefield. Quite simply, to fight for the well-being of veterans, their families, and all Americans. Which brings me to the Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last couple of months, you know about the crisis of the Department of Veterans Affairs. What you probably don't know is the central role that Concerned Veterans for America played in exposing and driving this crisis from the very beginning. After years of effort behind the scenes, privately and publicly, the scandal eventually made national headlines when initially in Phoenix it was exposed that veterans were waiting on secret lists that were meant to hide the real wait time veterans had at VA facilities of months and months and months. Veterans literally dying while waiting on secret lists that benefit only bureaucrats. In driving and in leveraging this crisis, we utilized the competitive advantage that only this network provides. The long-term vision to invest and the resources to back it up. We focused relentlessly on both exposing the failures of VA bureaucracy and improving the lives of veterans, meeting our people where they're at. The Concerned Veterans for America issued campaign pushing for systemic reform of the VA bureaucracy is of critical importance, we think, for 3 key reasons. First, it is going to has produced and will produce more market-based public policy victories that will improve the lives of veterans and their families. Second, it provides a perfect opportunity to educate the American people about the failures of big government. And 3, it's positioned us for the long term as a trusted, effective, and credible grassroots organization that we can build upon. A perfect example of this approach has been what we call our VA Accountability Project, which was launched earlier this year to highlight the problems at VA. Before the scandal broke, we launched this project to highlight the problems, talk about market-based solutions, and then organize veterans to take tangible actions to do something about it. And with veterans and military families aggressively and professionally leading the charge on capital overwhelming majority. Now, most bills that pass 390 to 33, or the other one a couple days passed 426 to 9, are nothing burgers. They're insignificant. They're the names of post offices, because that's all they can agree on. But both of these bills that were passed were real reforms, and I'll outline those in a second. And Nancy Pelosi and the majority of collectivists voted for them. They didn't like the bills, but they had to vote for the bills, because they were outnumbered by a new, nimble, and principled movement of veterans. But those bills didn't just die, shockingly enough, in the do-nothing Harry Reid Senate. 10 days ago, the Senate struck a historic deal, a deal that concerned Veterans for America was central to in every aspect, literally ensuring that the language stayed focused on real market-based reform, and we pushed the ball across the finish line. Now, usually deals in the Senate include only one thing: billions and billions of dollars or more spending. Not this one. This deal, as with the legislation in the House, was instead built on two market-based reforms that were injected by concerned Veterans for America and advanced the entire way. The first is accountability. The central belief that you can fire and should be able to fire swiftly underperforming VA managers for cause. Restoring basic accountability to the department. One of Ronald Reagan said the closest thing to eternal life is government programs. The closest thing to an eternal job is being a manager of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans died at Phoenix and no one has been fired still. This bill would empower the Secretary to actually fire a manager for cause. A reform the new Secretary said he would do immediately. The second is choice, and that's the crown jewel of this. The choice to see a private doctor if they cannot be seen in a timely manner from the VA. Veterans will literally get a card and the ability to visit a private doctor if they need to. The latter reform, which seems like a no-brainer to everyone in this audience, is a huge development rocking the core of big government status quo in Washington. The options for veterans to choose private care upends how the VA has fundamentally done business for the last 70 years, attacking the very heart of the failed, top-down, government-run, single-payer healthcare system that failed veterans. Now, frustrated veterans across the country have been clamoring for this choice for decades, but Washington special interests have squashed their pleas. Not anymore. As a result, we've helped improve the lives of 9 million veterans in America and their families, while at the same time stopping bad legislation that has just thrown more money at a dysfunctional department. Now, not surprising, as has been a theme of this couple of days, during the Senate negotiations between John McCain and the advocates of the choice bill and our favorite socialist in Vermont, Bernie Sanders, concerned Veterans for America's name explicitly came up, both in private and on the floor of the Senate. But their shallow name calling didn't work to derive the deal, and McCain and Senator Burr and Senator Rubio and others rolled them out. The merits of our cause and the credibility of veterans leading the charge have carried the day. Judge us by our work. It speaks for itself. Perhaps most importantly through this effort, we have created a new line of defense against the march toward socialized medicine, educating veterans and Americans in the process. Veterans have had government-run healthcare for decades. We've had the preview of Obamacare, and the scandal has exposed the inevitable result of central planning to all Americans. Massive wait times, impenetrable bureaucracy, de facto rationing, wasted tax dollars, it goes on and on. Throughout this effort, Concerned Veterans for America, along with our network partners, has intentionally broadened the debate to include big government dysfunction generally, further fortifying a new skepticism that AFP and others have brought to what government-run healthcare does. Now, finally, Concerned Veterans for America's efforts have been successful because they're based on a multi-year outlook that requires time. Time and investment that only this network and our incredible partners in this network can provide us. Our tangible and targeted grassroots efforts have worked because we've been on the ground, day in, day out, and not just on election cycles, investing in the community. The same activists calling congressional offices about VA accountability then pick up the phone with the I-360 database and call their fellow voters who engage them in garner data that's useful now, through 2016, and into the future. To that end, we're doing a Defend Freedom summer concert tour in Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, and Virginia this summer with a patriotic rock band that veterans love. It's been amazing to watch hundreds and hundreds of folks come out to these events, clamoring for something that fights the status quo and gives them an opportunity to get activated. And they're not just there to clap and get over it. They're taking action, signing up to be volunteers to make phone calls and knock on doors. They want to be they quickly begin to feel like losers. In closing, it's not just VA. We're also fighting out-of-control spending and mounting debt, both of which present a clear and present national security threat. Not to mention pushing for reform to defense spending and fighting burdensome regulations on business. When you see the fragile nature of freedom on the battlefield, it motivates you to say there's something I gotta do about it here, and that's what we're trying to do for Veterans for America. Our recent legislative victories, as historic as they may be, is really just a first step for us. And when I say us, I mean us. I include you and this entire network in what we've accomplished. And I want to include every single supportive element of this fantastic network that helps us do what we do each day and the other groups do what they do. This win for accountability and choice at VA is a tangible return on investment for our activists. And the central role that Concerned Veterans for America play gives us priceless private and public credibility with veterans and citizens who are looking for a challenge to that status quo and are ready to be activated in countless ways. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I thank Charles and David, Mark Short, Kevin Gentry, everyone that puts in the sweat equity that makes this possible. And I want to thank you for your courage for standing up and being here. Thank you for your incredible commitment to a free society. This network is making history, and we're just getting started. Thank you.
Generation opportunity, Concerned Vets is something that came out of this network, and you all as investors are the ones who made this happen.
Undercurrent under the surface makes the mainstream get so nervous. It's time for purpose, for news to serve us, not with propaganda they use to hurt